On the line, we have the Executive Director of the Investigative Project on Terrorism, Steve Emerson. Steve, thanks so much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Look, Syria, what are going to be the effects on the Middle East? You wrote a piece about that. What's your perspective as far as what will we see happening in the Middle East, and especially what could happen for our best ally in the Middle East, Israel?
Well, first of all, I think the president has played a combination of Hamlet and Macbeth, and I think any deterrent effect has already been. In fact, I think not just any deterrent effect on this episode. I think we've lost 30 years of deterrence, and I think we have just plunged our country into a fiasco about which it'll take years to extricate ourselves. People are just laughing at us, not just our friends, but our enemies.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to embolden more attacks, absolutely, by Iran and others, because they know they'll get away with it. That's number one. Number two, the Israelis are sort of a little bit, of two minds. The interesting popular opinion polls show they're in favor of a strike, and they also show they believe they're going to get hit in a retaliatory way. My personal belief is that it's Afghanistan redux. Most of you saw the front page of the New York Times today.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, I can tell you that even though the article said that there were areas that were controlled by moderate rebels, there's no such thing as a moderate rebel in Syria.
Yeah. Why do we keep trying to wish away the problem or wish the bad guys to be quasi good guys? I mean, what is the problem we have with this political correct interpretation?
This is McCain, is basically, praising them, and so is Kerry. And the bottom line is the rebels are jihadists, and they'll turn against us, like in Afghanistan. We assisted the Mujahideen in the 80s.
Absolutely.
And what happened? They turned against us, and they ended up it led to 9/11, okay? Bottom line here, we create a situation where the Jamaat al-Nusra and the al-Qaeda types basically are emboldened because of our attack on Assad. Now, my bottom line is I don't think we're going to do anything of substance. He's already had enough time to hide all of his major assets.
Mm-hmm.
The president has already backtracked on everything, saying only going to be limited. It's going to be, he said anything, but basically he said it's just going to be a tap on the shoulder. So there's not going to be any deterrence. And the fact is, the way this is played out as a sort of a slow motion train wreck in the eyes of the entire world, especially with Britain withdrawing and everybody else cringing. I just think that the Iranians, Hezbollah, everybody is just basically, and by the way, we've already alienated, our friends in Egypt. I mean, the secularist liberals who, basically overthrew the fascist dictatorships, a quasi-dictatorship of Morsi, hate us right now.
Yeah, they do.
Despise us.
Yeah, and look at what is happening in the Sinai, where Islamic terrorism is at an all-time high. The resort city of Eilat is getting, shelling from the Sinai Peninsula. So, what I see,
at least Sisi is doing something about it.
Yes, he is.
But Morsi didn't. Morsi allowed that to continue, and Sisi has shut down the tunnels between Egypt and Gaza. So, they're doing things that should have been done. And the bottom line is we ended up supporting Morsi, giving him financial aid, selling him weapons. And then after the real Arab Spring, when they overthrew Morsi, we insisted that Morsi be put back into office, that be included. And the bottom line is his party is very similar, and his way of operating very similar to the way Hitler operated. Get in power, and it's one man, one vote, one time.
You're absolutely right. Well, Steve, I have to agree with you totally when you say that we've lost the initiative, we've lost any ability to be a deterrent. So I want to thank you for taking the time to join us. Steve Emerson, the Executive Director of the Investigative Project on Terrorism. Thanks so much, and have a great weekend, Steve.
You're very welcome. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back from the break, we're going to be taking your calls. We're going to be taking about 19 to 20 minutes of your calls. So please call in toll free, 1-855-777-9660. This is Alan West, guest hosting for the Steve Malzberg Show. See you on the backside of the break.